Good afternoon. Obviously got through organizational day today. As you heard on the floor, we'll come back January the 5th, 2026, 1:30 to continue with our continue with our session. I want to make a couple of points before I take questions, and then I'll take a few questions. But let me make it abundantly clear that every member of our Senate caucus wants there to be a Republican majority in the House of Representatives in 2026. That is the goal that we have, similar to the goal that Trump has. It's desperately important, and Senator Mike Young articulated some of that fairly well today. There's lots of reasons for that, for policies that Trump is putting forth, like immigration is, for instance. But I guess the issue is that I'm not sure that a number of members of our caucus, at least, I'm included in that number, don't feel like it's the right way to move forward, simply because it's not the right way to get that goal achieved. We would rather take a look at Congressional District 1. It is a district that's been trending red over the last several years. And in fact, we have a senator now in Lake County that there may have been one other Republican senator there in the last 100 years, and now we have that the Republicans hold that seat. So evidence that it's really trending red. And if we had a candidate that we could all get behind and be supportive of, we think that we could turn that seat and give one more congressional seat in our delegation to Washington, D.C., which would be very helpful to the goal that we've all been talking about. I guess the issue is, when it comes down to that, is that a number of our caucus members, myself included, don't see this as a binary choice between the 7-2 ratio they have right now and redistricting and getting to an automatic 9-0. Think about it. It's November right now. We don't know what those districts are. There is no preeminent candidate in either of those seats that is a person that's going to be able to run for that seat that we know will have strong support and potentially win. There'll be a primary race, and definitely, assuredly, if we did that. And that person, whoever would come out of it, hasn't had day one go into a parade or a festival, and hasn't started on day one yet to raise $1 of money for that campaign. So we feel like we would not necessarily get to a 9-0 map or a 9-0 ratio at that point in time. So we're trying. We're trying to do the best thing for the state of Indiana, and as well as for the United States of America. One other thing, I guess I'll talk about why we decided not to come in today. We typically, when there's an issue, if we know we don't have the votes for it, we don't typically come in. This, I recognize, is a little bit of a different issue. It's got a little more attention than some of our more public bills, but that is typically how we handle that when we don't have the votes to pass it. And as you can see from the resolution that we passed today, that passed, and so I think that's moderately or fairly indicative of the vote that you might have seen if we were to vote on the redistricting issue itself. If we were to come in and spend 2 weeks in December doing that, while we have set it up where we could do other work at the same time, where other committees could meet, it still wouldn't be nearly as productive as when we come back in January, primarily because our members haven't got all their bills finished. They're still in the pipeline of being drafted and finalized, and so those 2 weeks wouldn't be nearly as productive, and we need to be productive when we hit the ground in January to work on things like the challenge of our economy and making sure that we have affordable state of Indiana. So having said that, I'll begin to take questions.
Senator Bray, on the issue of redistricting, two things. Number one, any worry about retaliation or primary challenge? No, people threaten the primary challenge, you have to wait till 2028. And the second part is, if you did redistrict, because of statutory deadlines and filings have to be done, convention delegates, precinct commitment, was this just a logistical nightmare just waiting to happen?
Yeah, I think local government should tell you this would be a serious challenge to try and get all that ready, precinct changes that might come with that. That would be a Herculean effort on their part. We kind of need to be cognizant of that. And on the other side, this is a high-profile issue. It's important to people, and so we recognize there's a political outfall for that. And there's next year's an election year, 2026. Those who are on the ballot are all subject to a primary election as well as a November election.
Senator Bray, President Trump has been extremely vocal in his disappointment. He's come after you personally online. What would your response to some of his comments be?
I've had a couple conversations with the president. Honored to talk to the president, frankly. I know that he's passionate about this issue. I've explained to him, as I tried to explain to you guys today that we want to be helpful. We want to see a Republican majority in the House of Representatives, and this is the best way forward as we see it.
Senator, can you legally ignore a special session call from the governor? What are the legalities?
Yeah, we've looked at that, had our attorneys look at that, and it does not appear to be a problem that we can make a decision as to whether we come in or not.
Senator, how concerned are you for the safety of your caucus, particularly given the swatting incident with Senator Good?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. I mean, let me just talk a little bit about Senator Good and that swatting incident. I have to absolutely condemn that activity. It's abhorrent that he, but in particular his wife and his son, would have to go through that experience. So I have no defense to that whatsoever, and we in our society need to make sure that the dialogue we have is civil, even when there's a disagreement. Civility and substance is what we need to be doing in our political universe, and there's just no place for that. I think it has put people on notice to be extra vigilant, and we'll all continue to try and be that way. We've also been in contact with the state police, and they're trying to be as helpful as can be.
Senator Bray, can you explain the resolution today, what that would have meant had it not passed?
Yeah, so, in here in Indiana, we have, if we hadn't passed that resolution, that gives us the ability to not come back every 3 days. Right now, we can't adjourn and be gone for more than 3 days unless we pass that resolution. So had it not passed, you might have seen us scramble around a little bit today, but had we not passed something today, we'd be back in on Friday, then back in next week, because we wouldn't be able to take the time off between now and January.
Governor Braun has called the growing pressure from the White House the first inning, if you will. How concerned are you that the House may hold a vote on redistricting and that they could force the vote in the Senate?
The House is its own entity. They're going to do what they need to do. I've been obviously in contact with the Speaker, somebody I greatly admire. We talk frequently, and we'll find out what they're going to do here this afternoon. I have the expectation. I think I know, but they'll have to act. I don't know if I feel like I'm in the first inning or not.
Senator Bray, you have a strong Republican legacy in your family. You come from a family of institutionalists, and your grandfather was a war hero. How much have they informed your approach to this entire process in terms of the way they respected the Senate?
I don't know if I can really explain on this particular issue. I have a deep and abiding regard for this institution and our democratic process, and that's a result of my grandfather, my father, and my family. And so I always want to treat it with the utmost respect, which is what I'm trying to do here as we're trying to find a path forward.
Senator, what do you say to your Republican colleagues like Senator Young, who said, look, we should get a chance to have our voices heard and speak on this?
Well, there's difference of opinion, and I get that. But as I said, I mean, it's actually fairly customary when we don't have a vote on a big issue. We don't take it to the floor. The vote that we had today, you'll notice, was a roll call vote. We don't typically do that. That would have typically been a voice vote. That was a way for us to just make sure that there's a little bit of accountability and transparency for all of us to show where we were on this issue.
Two more.
So is over a bill in January, will that be too late to affect the 2026 elections in your mind?
Well, I think that would be procedurally really challenging because of what Abdul said earlier about all the things that have to happen after we would make a change.
One more.
So in a nutshell, redistricting is dead?
What's that?
So in a nutshell, redistricting is dead for right now?
Well, it's we're coming back in January the 5th.
Senator, how would you vote?
Thank you,
Thank you, guys.
He said